will not go all the way down.
It was the word structure.
Right, I'll just use the word footpath here in case it fits somewhere else.
Footways.
If not, I'll put it under highways. So I'll just circle back to that in a moment.
And also the actual bit of road at the bottom of Bosling Grove, I don't know, but I wouldn't imagine that it's made to a sufficient standard to support the amount of traffic.
Okay.
It's already breaking up.
Yeah.
If you have contractors.
Is that okay with council that include that?
Yeah.
So resin material, original material.
You ought to consider that methane drainage because there's a pipe in that.
I'm going to come to that.
We're just on the highways
Bear
bit.
with me, Fred.
Yeah.
You've seen that I do this thoroughly, so from the other ones, so bear with me.
What about the time that they came out to look at the traffic? Would that come under that section?
Yes, you are correct, yeah. That'll go under government and planning, yeah.
Between 7 and 10 and 3 and 6 o'clock.
They won't get together.
And I have got a lot of this content within
Yeah,
yours, so
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
That will help me, yeah. Time of survey, I'll put that under government and planning.
11 to 12.
If I move
Friday
now
afternoon.
through to infrastructure of the actual, this is what Councillor Hall said. I'm going to put this under what is under here as social facilities. So deficiencies in social facilities, for example, space in schools. So under that I've got schools, doctors. Was there anything else that was
Chemists,
raised?
dentists. You have to take a picnic when you go to the chemist now because you're that long waiting.
So doctors, chemists,
It is. It's true.
Dentist school.
dentists.
I'll send you to Upton.
Yeah.
Could there
So
be general youth provision in terms of youth clubs
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, because that was being listed as a priority by district councillors as well.
are we at council, are we all nodding? Youth?
There's also the question of green that's next to it. And if we have got children playing on that with footballs and whatever games they are doing, it's going to be so dangerous. You know, the ball goes on the road and there's cars whizzing round. It's just not practical.
Rosing Plus has a green.
It's the quarry top.
It's on the
quarry top,
which
that's
is
what can be
actually-
built on.
So what I will need to do again, because as part of the objection you can't foresee what's going to happen and make an objection on that, so what I'll do is I'll put that onto highway safety of increased roads, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Would there be any way to put that most of the residents are elderly, which they are,
Yeah.
on that, you know, of that stage?
So we've got wheelchairs and we've got
wheelies and wobblers.
Just would it attack because the clerk got to just note it down?
I'll just make a note of the what we just said about the green space.
In terms of the kids playing. And sorry, you were just mentioning the
we have people in wheelchairs going
Yes.
up and down. We've got carers, this because it's nearly all elderly people. We've got carers coming down 4 times a day. You know, and it's just not on.
We've got to pop that through the safety element.
Yeah.
I'll pop all that into there. If I could just work the way through, if that's okay, just to keep us moving. So we've just covered infrastructure and I've added those bits to road safety. The next part about the material objection is about layout and density of building and loss of sunlight. So I'm going to group that together along with overshadowing and loss of privacy. I think it's all part of one element, isn't it? And this is about what Councillor Andy Sherritt was saying is at this moment in time it's proposed 9 dwellings, but Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, do we know what those buildings are yet? Has it been declared?
other than it's for detached houses.
Well, we're building 2, the semis, where the entrance comes in off New Street.
So this part of the objection from the council will have to be more of an exploration to say what are you proposing to build, because if it is this is our objection.
Well, in particular, if we were looking at 3 stories.
So because we've not had a plan yet as to what the buildings are, it's quite hard to specifically object to that, but we need to explore and find out more information, so that'll be
It does specifically say though that it will be 7 detached, 4-bedroom homes, and it does say 2 semi-detached homes. So that is a
so many stories.
But
it doesn't say stories.
And that's the
question I'll
issue in a way, because at the moment that land is actually quite a bit lower than the surrounding houses.
Yeah.
So a 2-story is not too bad, but if it goes to attic rooms, then it will be overlooking.
Yeah.
A bungalow would be even better.
Well, a bungalow wouldn't have any
But not that
issue on that
I'm
side.
going to keep moving with the momentum because there's
Yeah,
loads
sorry,
of here, so
yeah.
it's fine. So stories of the house will be a query. I've got loss of trees, obviously adverse impact on nature, I think they're a given. One of the ladies that speaks to me quite regularly, I think you might know who she is, I think that's who you were mentioning, that looks out onto it. I've actually been in her bedroom, believe it or not, and I've looked out and I've taken videos from last year when it happened. So I do have some information on it already, and I queried it with her back then on behalf of her for Wakefield Council to see if there was planning at the time and if it was right what they were doing. So that was explored back then as a resident and clerk, not through the council. So I have got some information on that already. That's what I'll pop into that one. The bits that I just need a bit of confirmation on, please, council, is if we just circle back through then. So footpaths, we're putting those under safety. Yeah. So I'll pop them under safety. And then the bits that I've just noted as part of the conversation, but I didn't get all of it, there was something about the physical infrastructure and drainage.
Was that because it's built on, it's quarry land,
Yeah.
so I think the public drainage and water systems will be impacted by it being, and stabilisation of the land, so they need to pile drive and dig out whatever's in there, if there's any toxic materials or anything like that. They need a full engineer's report on what's in the quarries.
Okay, so I can put that in
We've
there.
got 1,000 tonnes of soot down there as well.
I was just going to say, if you don't mind, if I could add to that.
Yeah,
I've been told by one of the people that's lived there from day one that was used for many, many years for depositing the soot from the chimney sweeps business.
Yeah.
So that's a big contamination issue as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I've sort of grouped these up together as, so we've got here, and I'm reading from the list that I've got here, capacity of physical infrastructure, and the examples are public drainage or water systems, storage and handling of hazardous materials and development of contaminated land. So I've grouped those up together. Stabilisation, obviously there's the potential, and again I've got to make sure when I write the letter it's not a fact to me, so I have to inquire as to what the land is. But we've mentioned coal soot. I think, can I address the audience? Okay.
Yeah.
Fred, did you mention another material that's rumoured to be
It was full of tyres.
potentially tyres?
There was going back a little bit in time, the Ackworth Transport decided to do a service area for the lorries on that side. And one of the jobs was changing all the tyres when they were due on the lorries. And they've got a lot of equipment at that time. And the tyres all went down into the quarry.
So we've got potential for tyres. Again, I'll just have to ask the question.
I don't know to this day how you got planning for your bungalows to start with.
We'll deal with this one today, Freddie, if that's okay. Was there any other materials rumoured that we are concerned about?
Dog food is said in there.
You mentioned about food, didn't you?
So I think what I'm going to need to
There
do
was-
then is go
yeah.
back through on the government and planning section to ask what surveys were done, because clearly there's a lot of rumours. So I'll go through on that one.
A lot of tin food went down, and particularly I can remember because there are a lot of rat spraying as well at times.
Yeah. So I'll capture that in that one if that's okay. And then the other area that I had, which I just needed confirmation on, no, I think we've covered it all, we'll just leave the green space. So that's what I've got to, Chair, as an inclusion, and as this obviously is very detailed and very complex, when it's written, I would like to have a councillor that proofreads it before it goes on behalf of the council.
Can I
I'm
also
happy to do that
mention-
if you want.
I'll let Marty deal with it now.
So, I'm just going to bring in another comment
Yeah.
from...
Can I also mention, when you're going into Rossley Grove, the road actually goes in and there's the most beautiful cherry tree.
There's two together.
Tree. And if they want to widen the road, what's going to happen?
They're just beautiful.
So did you have a green section in
I
terms
did
of
have a
tree?
green section of cherry trees, and again, it might be worth, Chair, having instruction to be able to go out as clerk and photograph some of these areas as well.
Yeah,
To
we
include in
can
the
add that to...
with whichever councillor is elected.
Yeah.
Can I, on behalf of the residents, thank you
Yeah.
for your support
Yes.
Thank you.
and invite any of you at any time We're number 5 Rustling Road, come and have a look.
Thank you.
Make a cup of tea. But, you know, seriously, if you want
No,
to,
thank
if
you.
any of you want to come and look at the issues that we're concerned about, feel free to come round.
I've took some photos there. It looks like something
Sean, can we just bring back to the meeting? Okay, so first of all, as part of this proposal, I need a councillor to proofread it, so can I get a nomination for that?
Happy to do that.
Andy, we're happy with Andy. Can I get a proposal and seconder for that?
I'll propose it.
Sean proposing, Nathan seconding. Votes in favour of Andy being proofreader for that? Yeah. Okay, so he's your proofreader
Yeah,
for this. Is there any other specific needs?
just permission to be able to write and take our own photos, but I think that's a given, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
so as part of the objection, photos to be included.
Yeah.
Stephen,
Just
yeah?
as a matter, it does say that dwellings and associated work with all matters reserved, which means the buildings, the designs of everything aren't decided yet. It is there's a slight misspelling of the it says expected.
That's
Except for access, so that's the main thing they're going to talk about when they do the outline.
Yeah.
So that's the thing to be specified.
Thank you.
Yes,
Excellent.
thank you. Yeah, the objection will come back anyway, any response to the objection will come back to council.
Okay, so we've got a proposal, we've already got a proofreader nominated and voted for. I've got a proposal and seconding yet?
I
No?
can't remember, let's go again.
Let's go with it again.
I proposed it.
John proposing, Sharon seconding, yeah. There we go.
You've got history of subsidence on that side. The first
Yeah.
big house on your right
Next door to me.
as you went in, it broke in half. And they put
It it got a crackle, and that were actually a bell pit on the roadside.
Okay,
It is
I'm
because
going to move to a vote then in terms of, so we've got a clear instruction and we've gone through a list of what we're going to object to and the reasons why. So votes in favour of the parish council submitting that. Excellent, thank you. And I would advise, as soon as we're all in favour of it, submitting it as well.
Yeah, and if you want to leave your details at the end on the back of the attendance sheet for emails of this form, then I'm happy to email it out to anyone that wants it, please.
Okay, we're now moving to section 16, so can I get approval from council to move to the private section of the meeting? So Public Bodies Admission to Meeting Act 1960, that the press and public be excluded from the remainder of the meeting on grounds that publicity would be prejudicial to the confidential nature of the business being transacted. So votes in favour of moving to the private section. That means you guys go again. Thank you very much, everyone.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.